It's that time once again. Welcome back to the Friday Show. I'm Scott Jagow along with Ray Paulick. It's Friday, May 29th. We're just over a week away from the Belmont Stakes. And Ray, we've been in this position before several times. Bob Baffert's been in this position before, specifically having a horse who could win the Triple Crown. But he seems to be going about his business the way he always does. He took American Pharoah from Pimlico back to Churchill instead of going to New York to give American Pharoah a little extra time to get used to Belmont Park. Could that be a mistake, not giving him that extra time?
This is what Bob Baffert has done every year. He's had a horse go from the Kentucky Derby to the Preakness to the Belmont. Why should he change? He is 1 for 9, which doesn't look that good on paper, but let's not forget he had 3 second-place finishes as well. Silver Charm was second, Real Quiet was second, Painter was a close second just a few years ago. So 1 for 9, 4 for 9. I don't think he's got a bad record in the Belmont. I think he knows his horses. He's got his own barn to train out of at Churchill. He's very comfortable there. Why not?
No matter how good the preparation is, however, when the gates open, it's going to be up to jockey Victor Espinosa. He came into last year's Belmont 2 for 67 at Belmont Park. He's obviously a good rider, but Belmont can be challenging even to the best. And weird things seem to happen in this race. So let's take a look at history, starting with Spectacular Bid in 1979.
Moving up on the outside now is Spectacular Bid, and Spectacular Bid on the outside puts ahead in front.
I have no idea what Ronnie Franklin was thinking. He was the young jockey on Spectacular Bid, driving him down the backstretch in a 1.5-mile race. It was crazy. He went 47-3 for the half mile, 1:11 1/5 for the 6 furlongs by comparison. When Seattle Slew and Affirmed won their Triple Crowns at the Belmont, they went 6 furlongs and 1:14. Ronnie Franklin got taken off after that race, never rode him again. Spectacular Bid went on to win 12 of his next 13, his only loss coming that fall to Affirmed in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, going 1.5 miles. That was a great race.
Well, that's a clear-cut case of the jockey being at fault, but I think sometimes it's not so clear. 2004, Smarty Jones, a similar move down the backstretch, not quite as dramatic, but he went to the lead and some people criticized him and he fell just short of winning that race, and the third quarter might have been the reason. However, after the race, Stuart Elliott said that Smarty Jones was running and he was kind of dragging him. And if you watch the replay of many Belmont Stakes, the winner is the one that looks the most comfortable, is riding rhythmically and naturally, and you kind of get out of the way if you're a jockey. I think sometimes these jockeys in the Belmont Stakes overthink it. They're worried too much about position and tactics, not letting the horse just run. And at 1.5 miles, that seems to be really important. Another thing about the Belmont is that not a lot of favorites win it. The Preakness, a lot of favorites win, not at the Belmont.
Hey, you're talking about horses that are going along easily. Datara back in 2008 was just going along easily. Big Brown was going for the Triple Crown. We all just thought Big Brown was going to come up, blow by him, and win. Didn't happen. He pulled up. Datara went on for the victory. He paid $79 that year, but he wasn't the longest shot ever to win the Belmont. That would be Sarava, the year that War Emblem was going for the Triple Crown in 2002. He paid $142.50. All right, so the average winning mutual since Affirmed, $25.59. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The median, $12.30, and only 6 of 36 Belmont favorites have won since Affirmed in 1978.
And the last one was a Fleet Alex. Fleet Alex was also the last one to compete in all 3 Triple Crown races and win the Belmont. He's also the last Preakness winner to win the Belmont. And of course, this issue came up last year after the race, after California Chrome lost, and his owner was complaining that it was a coward's way out.
If you've got a horse that earns points to run in the Kentucky Derby, those 20 horses that start in Kentucky are the only 20 eligible to run in all 3 races. This is the coward's way out.
Well, I'm not sure I would say it's the coward's way out to skip the Preakness and the Kentucky Derby, as was the case with Tonalist last year, the winner of the Belmont. Steve Coburn later apologized for those remarks, but this is the new reality for the Triple Crown. The best horses go to the Kentucky Derby, and a lot of them skip the Preakness and point for the Belmont. You've got Todd Fletcher with Carpe Diem and Materiality, Kieran McLaughlin with Frosted, who ran a good 4th in the Kentucky Derby. You've got Mike DeCock with Muktahij, the UAE Derby winner, who is trying to become the first foreign-trained Belmont winner since Go and Go for Dermot Wells in 1990, and I think he's got a pretty good shot.
Absolutely, several of those horses do. And the way I look at it is, if American Pharoah is going to win the Triple Crown, why not earn it in the best way possible? It'll be all the more satisfying if he defeats these horses again and after having some rest. All right, that's it for this edition of the Friday Show. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week from New York.